Hello everyone, welcome to Spiritually Speaking with Lauri Albert. I am your host, medium and intuitive Lauri Albert. Spiritually Speaking is an interactive, intuitive conversation that embraces all things spiritual. Each week we discuss different life and spiritual topics. I have guests on occasionally, and I take calls on the spirit line so that you guys can be part of the conversation, or if you'd like a short reading. So welcome to the show, and thanks for being with me tonight. So much to talk about. Oh my gosh, last week I was like struggling, like what should I talk about? What should, spirit, give me something to talk about, all that stuff. And this week it's like, holy cow, I've got to talk about this, that. There's tons to get through, right? Tons to talk about. But I am getting a lot of really good feedback on the meditations. So I figured let's start out with a really beautiful, loving meditation. So we're going to get into that in a sec. I've got some really fun, awesome good news stories tonight. And yes, we are going to talk about the lunar eclipse mixed with the full blue moon. There's it's called something crazy, like super full blue something or other, all this stuff. So we'll get to all of that. And what does that mean for you? And if you're feeling kind of that energy already, because you should be feeling it. So, well, if you're sensitive to that kind of stuff, you would probably be feeling it. Let me just put it that way. So, and then I want to, of course, take your calls. So, and then I'm going to get into the topic of getting rid of the stigma of it's not cool to love yourself. Like so many people say, you're egotistical. You can't say I love you to yourself. You can't say I love me, but yes, you can, and you should. And we're going to talk about that because that's something really big. And I had a huge sort of epiphany last week. So I'll tell you guys about that in a minute. But let's start off. Let me take a drink of my tea, because I don't want to get dry mouth, Okay, so let's get right into the meditation and let's get started with it. It's a beautiful meditation. I hope you guys like it. So, yeah. So, all right. So let's all close our eyes, get seated really, really comfortably, whether it's cross-legged or feet on the floor. If you'd like, put your palms up. You can do the pose if you'd like. You can do that. And let's just take a couple of deep breaths. Breathe out all of that stress and ickiness from the day. And just breathe all that out. Take a couple deep breaths. Now I want you to turn your attention to your heart chakra. Your heart chakra is just in your heart area. And I want you to put your attention to that area and imagine that beautiful emerald green. That is the color of the heart chakra. And that beautiful emerald green. And in your mind's eye, imagine the room filling up with that beautiful emerald green. And with your heart chakra, we think and we talk a lot about love. Love for ourselves, love for other people, unconditional love. We also talk about forgiveness regarding this chakra. Forgiveness of others, forgiveness of ourselves. So imagine the room filling up with that beautiful green color. And put your attention right in the area of your body where your heart is. I want you to acknowledge yourself for sitting quietly. So quietly that you can feel your heart beating. Relax your muscles. in your mind. Try to focus on listening to your heartbeat or feeling your heartbeat. Pay attention to its rhythm, the steadiness. Now I want you to consider and think about something or someone, a loved one, a pet, significant other. Think about being in their company. Think about the smile on your face and in your heart. How do they make you feel? Consider how that makes you feel. Does it give you butterflies? Does it just make you peaceful? Try to feel real strongly that feeling when you're in the company of someone you love. And send them that love that you feel in your heart. Just imagine them wherever they are and just send them love. Imagine the green love light emanating inside you and moving toward them. Now I want you to imagine someone that loves you. Could be past or present, someone alive or past. Could be your parents, significant other, a pet. Someone that loves you. Picture their face as they look at you. And you just know, you can feel the love that they have for you. And allow that love to enter your being. Allow their love to envelop your entire body. And receive that love unconditionally. So that we know that we are giving love and we are receiving love. Now I want you to sit in that feeling, that beautiful feeling of love for a few minutes. That giving and receiving. Take on how that feels for you. Now you can sit in this for a while, but for the purposes of this, open your eyes whenever you're ready and know that you can go back to that feeling anytime you choose. Anytime you need to, anytime that you're feeling a bit down, or if you're feeling a bit lonely, or if you feel like the world is just a little bit too crazy right now, you can go back to that. Okay? That was beautiful. I love that. Spirit gives me the coolest meditations. I'm glad that I'm doing this and it's on, video so that I can look back myself. So anyway, I feel so beautiful right now. It feels so good. So how is everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody's having a great night. And what a week, huh? And if you're watching me right now, well, I guess it is 5:10 on the West Coast, and if you want to watch this over and over again so that you miss the other stuff going on, that's fine. My spirit line is ringing. Feel free to call in 818-835-5885. I'm going to pick up this call. And hello there. How are you? You're live on the air with Lauri. Who am I speaking to?
Hello. Hello.
Hi, who's this?
It's Phyllis.
Hi, Phyllis. How are you tonight?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I don't know if you listened to the meditation, but woo!
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. That green light was all over.
Oh my gosh. I love, you know what? And like I said, I am so glad that that I have this on video so that I can go back and listen to this, because it's amazing. Like, Spirit just gives me these, you know? I'm just so
It was
fortunate.
great. I enjoyed it. It was very calming, very very heartful.
Good.
Very
that's great. That's fantastic. What can I do for you this evening?
Okay. Any messages from anybody with the situation with me, or any thoughts?
Let's see. I'll tell you what, I am feeling, somebody new for you. Do you have a friend that is in spirit, like like somebody that was a friend of yours? I feel like she's showing herself to me to be about, like, I don't know, 50s or 60s. She feels like I'm seeing like brown hair, like straight brown hair. Okay.
And it's a friend?
Yeah, I feel like it's a friend. It doesn't feel like, I could be wrong about this, but it doesn't feel like there's a blood relation there. So that could be, it could be an in-law too, actually, if you want it. But I'm not feeling like a blood relationship. So what do you think? Can you take any of that?
No.
No? Okay.
Oh my, no.
Okay. It might be for a caller that's coming up. You never know. These spirits, they just do whatever the heck they want to do. Okay, so let me just, because her energy feels a little bit different. So I'm kind of, I'm going to ask her to step aside, because her energy feels like a little bit different. She actually, not that it's a bad thing, don't get me wrong, but I'm just, all of a sudden now, I'm like feeling like that this is not for you. So forgive me on that one. I'll go back to, so your parents are both in spirit, correct? Correct. Holding hands, yes. Here, Father, forgive me, because you know what, when I get into spirit mode, and I really need to say this, because I never want anybody to like feel badly that I don't remember their spirits, because basically what happens to me, and this has happened from the beginning, I'll give somebody a reading, and then I'm so in the sort of zone that it comes in and then it goes out. So please don't take offense if I don't remember your spirit, and I'm still so sorry for that. So please.
That's okay.
Thanks. Because I know you call frequently, and I love that you do, and your spirits are always wonderful. That much I remember. But I'm seeing this man, and I feel like it's your parents. Because what's funny is that I actually do remember the energy and how it feels, but I never remember like physical descriptions. So that's what that's about. Anyway, okay, now enough of that talk. Okay. Your father was a bit, not overweight, but chunky, right?
A little.
Well, just a little bit. Not like overly, right? And just the nicest man ever. That much I do know. And he's holding, I believe, your mother's hand. Of course, he wouldn't be holding anybody else's hand. And I feel like that they're here, and there's just some serious pride going on. I feel like that, wow, his energy is growing now. I love that. I love his energy. Okay, so serious pride going on. He's real happy with what you're doing. Now, I think I told you that once before. Now I'm sitting here, went through that whole thing about how I don't remember readings, but now I feel like that I told you that before, that he's proud about how you're handling something.
Yeah. Yep.
And you're not happy about it, but he's talking about how you're doing the right thing. And okay, so let me get more details on this. He's laughing because I'm just getting he's like sort of the talkative one tonight versus your mother. Your mother is standing there to his left. Left, right, I don't know. He's standing to her left, his left, and so, but she's letting him do all the talking, and he's saying, he's kind of laughing, and he's like, I know it's difficult, and I know that they're difficult because there's a situation with some other people. I know that they're difficult. It's very frustrating. Did you just have words with somebody? Did you just have like kind of a words with somebody recently?
No, a little while ago.
Yeah, I mean like words like a little bit of a tiff kind of thing.
Yeah, that was a little while ago.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so he's acknowledging that. I think he just is telling me that because he wants to acknowledge that that's what we're talking about. He's actually, okay, so he's talking about how you spoke your piece, but you held your temper a bit.
Yeah.
And and he's happy for that. He's glad that you did that. He's like, and he's talking to me about how this is like a good, okay, the situation aside, and he's saying the situation aside, this is a really good life lesson for you about holding your tongue and, holding your tongue and just speaking up when it's absolutely 100% necessary. And there are ways to get your point across without even speaking. And God only knows what that means. But he's saying that, like, he's saying to me that he's saying that you can get your point across without words. There are certain things, actions that you can take. That's what he's talking about. He's talking about actions.
What I'm doing.
Is that what you're doing? Okay, so there's actions that you can take that would be better for you. I'm sorry, what was that?
I took myself away from the situation.
Okay.
There's a space there. I'm not in their area per se.
Right.
I just took myself out of that situation.
Okay, good. But you are talking to somebody else that is talking to that person. Is that correct?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I have to be careful what I say.
Right. Oh, that's so funny because that's what he was going to say. He was going to say, be a little careful what you say, but you can use that. Oh, this is so funny. He's funny. He's like a little gossiper guy. He's like giving me gossip or something. He's so funny. I love him. So he's saying that you can utilize that to your benefit. Knowing what they're going to say, that they're going to say things to this other person, you can use that. And you can plant seeds. You can plant seeds.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
Okay. So he likes that because when the two of you, the two ones that had the little tiff or whatever you want to call it, it just talking isn't going to work right now. So having somebody else be the middle guy, and I don't think that they're really aware that they're the middle guy.
No, I think this one is.
Oh, really? That's great.
Yeah, sometimes I think she creates the problem because she doesn't say the whole truth.
Okay, so what he's saying is utilize, I love it, utilize that, okay, to your benefit. But he's also giving me a warning. He's showing me like a red flag. Don't say too much.
Exactly.
Okay, know when to stop. Big, like he's giving me a huge red flag, like I'm seeing red. Okay, so know when to stop. Mm-hmm. Okay, because that could quite possibly not be good for you later. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I do. Yes, it does.
And he's talking to me. Now, I don't know who this other person is that you're kind of going through this thing with, but I feel like that your father is kind of working on them in his own way. Would that make sense? Did your father knew him, that other person? Yes?
It's a girl. Yeah.
It's a girl? Yeah.
Can I say who it is, or don't say who it is?
Yeah, go ahead and tell me who it is. Who is it? Is it your sister?
My daughter.
Oh, it's your daughter. Oh, okay. I was thinking
Yeah.
like sister, but okay. That's okay. He's working in her life. Okay? He's working in her life to try to maneuver her because she's going through so much. I feel like that her energy is, and he's showing this to me. Her energy is kind of like all over the place. Does that make sense?
Yes.
She's like all over the place. She's here, she's there, she's there, she's there. There's a whole bunch happening and she just can't quite get it together. And he's really trying to be there for her as much as he can from the other side. Okay? So you should know that because obviously you care, right?
Right. Well, that's why I separated myself.
Yeah.
I had to.
Yeah.
She got to the point where she was like pushing and threatening me, and I just backed off. I said,
yeah,
that's it.
That's the best thing. Sometimes that's what you have to do. And that's not me talking. That's your father. Here's me. Your father. He's like standing right here. So he's that's what basically what he's saying. Sometimes the distance is better. But that third person, really cares about your daughter as well. So
oh yeah,
there's love there. So it's going to be that sort of love passes through. And what's interesting is that he's telling me to continue. I don't know if it was your daughter that you were sending the green light to, but he was saying that you should do that. Just keep sending her love because and maybe continue to do that meditation that I did tonight and just keep sending her the love. Keep sending her the love. And she's the one that you're giving to, right? You're giving the love to her. Now, as far as receiving the love, that's from your father. I can absolutely, well, and your mother too, but your father in this specific circumstance. Your father, I feel like, is giving you the love and giving you the strength. Okay. So he really wanted me to tell you that. He's kind of a happy-go-lucky guy. However, in this circumstance, he's quite serious. So, so yeah.
Because it has affected my health, the situation.
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
It's affecting my health.
Oh.
The situation.
Oh.
So.
Well, you can't let it do that. You cannot let it do that.
No.
And let me just tell you this, and he's telling me again, keep accepting his green light heart unconditional love because he loves you. And he really wants to say this to you as well, is that you have to believe for everyone involved. Okay? Believe that everything is going to work out and it's going to be fine. Okay? There's always going to be challenges, just like life has that roller coaster. You wouldn't know the ups if you didn't know the downs, right? On the roller coaster. You wouldn't, So he's saying to accept that this is a down, this is an underpart. An underpart?
Right.
The words that come out of my mouth. Continue on that and you will go up. I feel like that you're on the up. Did I tell you that once before, that it's kind of things are starting to go up? Things are starting to happen with your daughter. I feel like that things are working their way through. I feel like that there's a lot of muck that we got to work through, that she's got to work through. There's like a lot of junk going on in her head and in her life, okay? But she's getting there, and it's baby steps. It's truly baby steps, but she's getting there, so. Okay?
Okay. That's great.
Keep the faith. So. I really want to tell you, your father and me both, and your mother, want to say keep the faith. Please, please keep the faith. And whenever you feel stressed, sit down and meditate. You know, sit down and meditate. And, you know, just try to clear your mind. That will really, really help. Okay.
Okay, that's great.
Okay.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Oh,
That was
you're
awesome.
welcome. Thanks so much for the call, Phyllis. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome and good luck.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
I
Oh, I, I, I know I say this after like every reading, of course, but you know, I love when spirit comes to me with messages of encouragement like that. I mean, I was really getting, as you guys heard, I was really getting um, just that he just wants to encourage her to not lose faith. And you know, that's like what it all should be in our lives, right? It should all be that way, right? So um, that was great. Thank you for the call, Phyllis. I appreciate it. Okay, so dying to talk to you guys about the full moon slash lunar eclipse slash all this stuff. So, oh, and you know what? If you're feeling, okay, this is what I really want to say. If your energy is feeling a little goofy, a full moon, I am affected by the full moon. Not everybody is. I get affected by the full moon energy, right? So you can only imagine what's going on right now for me. I was tired today. I was, which, you know, I'm still getting over the bronchitis thing, but, you know, so I was tired today. I was a little bit grumpy, which, you know, come on. Anybody who watches any of these videos knows that I'm just really kind of not a grumpy person. So had that going on, but I was, you know, so I just want to like maneuver through my life and just move forward and just swim, just keep swimming, right? You know, so that's what for me this energy is going to be about, right? So I wanted to tell you guys about that regarding the energy of this full moon solar eclipse. Okay, so this is what it's called. It's called the super blue blood moon. That's what it's called, the super blue blood moon. Damn. So that's what this is. Okay, and it will take place at 5, okay, the full moon itself will take place at about 5:27 a.m. Pacific time. Okay, that's Pacific time. Okay, and this super blue blood moon tomorrow morning is something that the U.S. has not seen since 1866, and that is like 150 years. So pretty darn amazing, right? I don't know why that's not right. It hasn't seen this particular moon has not been seen since 1866. That's a little bit more than 150 years, but whatever. Okay, so the total lunar eclipse and the super full moon coincide to create a rare lunar event that hasn't been seen. That's what it is. Hasn't been seen in 150 years. Over 150 years. That's amazing, right? That's so cool. Okay, so the eclipse times. Let me give you that. You know, this is, I can see tonight. Maybe we like this full moon energy, so I don't need my glasses. I love that. Okay, the eclipse times in Los Angeles. This is totally on the West Coast. The beginning will be at 3:48. This is the beginning of the eclipse. 3:48 a.m. PST. Okay, then the full eclipse begins at 4:51. Now, I get up at 5 o'clock every day, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get up a little bit early and go outside and just experience the energy. Can you guys even imagine me standing outside in my garden? Just sitting there like that? Oh, yeah. Oh. And it's nice and warm here, so, you know, I can do that. Okay, so anyway, the full eclipse begins at 4:51 a.m. and it will reach its peak at something like, oh, I didn't write that down. It reaches its peak at like 5:30ish, something like that, and then it's the full part of the eclipse. It ends at 6:07 a.m. So I'm gonna be in the shower. That'll be kind of cool, you know, just wash away all this. Okay, so that's cool. Anyway, all right. So a blue moon is when there's 2 full moons in the same month. A super moon is near its closest approach to Earth, okay? And a blood moon is a total lunar eclipse visible in the North America, Hawaii, Australia, and Eastern Asia. So, okay, so I want to tell you just feel the energy. Oh, do I sound woo-woo? But seriously, feel that energy. Just allow your body to feel it and absorb it. It's awesome. And here's the biggest thing. If you have any crystals at all, if you're into any of this, like I have my selenite and I have my quartz and I have a whole bunch of crystals on the all over the place actually. Take them outside. If you have amethyst, all of that stuff, because the energy, you want that energy from the full moon and the eclipse, you want that to get into your crystals and it sort of re-energizes them. And I know I've talked about this before, but if you can at all, just allow them to sit out there. Any sort of crystal that you want sort of charged kind of thing, go ahead and put it outside. It'll be really, really, you'll be glad you did. And you know what? If you have any sort of sensitivities at all, you'll appreciate what your crystals feel like after doing that. So just be aware of that. And okay, so just be aware of that. Okay, so that being said, now I want to actually I want to read what Christopher Renstrom wrote for starting yesterday. Yesterday from the 29th to February 4th. Okay, this is kind of cool too. And you know what? I told you I love him. You know, and I sound like a broken record at this point, but you know. Okay. So here is Christopher Renstrom's rulingplanets.com, his astrological forecast for all of us for this week. I'm sorry to say this, but it's going to feel like the world is going to hell in a handbasket this week, thanks to the lunar eclipse in Leo. Things tend to unravel and fall apart when there's a lunar eclipse. Anything that's weak or feeble or standing on iffy ground will simply collapse. This pertains to relationships and careers as much as it does to health matters and mental states. The key is getting through a rough passage like this is to get zen about it. Oh, and that's what I was saying. That's basically what I was saying. Whatever is passing out of your life right now had actually left a long time ago. This could be worrisome or liberating, depending on how emotional or clear-eyed you are. Whatever the outcome, you need to know that the purpose of a lunar eclipse is to clear away the bramble so that you can find your path again. So keep that in mind. We are doing this, we're going through this lunar eclipse and we're clearing a new path, okay, for our future. Okay, so just be prepared for things to kind of like crumble a little bit. But it's kind of like when you work with like tarot cards or something. When you get the death card, everybody's like, oh my God, everything's going to collapse. But guess what? It's kind of okay that happens, because sometimes things need to collapse in order to build back up. So keep that the faith, right? Okay, so I'm going to answer this call. Hi there, you're live on the air with Lauri. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, Lauri. This is Courtney.
Hi, Courtney. How you doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for asking. What can I do for you tonight?
I just wanted to give a call in. I've definitely been sensing the crazy energy in the air with the moon, like you've been talking about, and feel like I've been sensing a lot of connections to folks who have passed, and yeah.
Oh, that's great. Are you so you are sensitive? Do you have you sort of? This is what Spirit is. I feel like is telling me to talk about with you right now. Have you have you done any sort of work on connecting with your spirit guides and that sort of thing?
Only a little bit. I've only sort of lightly dipped my toes into that world. I haven't delved in deeply, but I will say I've definitely always felt tuned in to that side of things.
Because I get that really strongly. I feel like that your third eye is really, really active. I'm really getting because I'm kind of going through, and I don't do this very often, and it's interesting. You never know what Spirit is going to have me do, right? But Spirit, it's true. If you start to delve into this, you'll understand what I mean, right? But I'm looking through your chakras, and and kind of looking at your energy field, even though I can't see you. I really feel like that your third eye is really bright and beautiful. And I feel like that this is a time in your life when it would be really good to really start to sort of learn how to connect with your guides. I don't know why I keep saying guides. I guess I'm supposed to keep saying that. Your guides on the other side. Have you ever been told that you have a certain amount of guides, or this guide or that guide? Have you ever talked to anybody about your guides before?
No, I haven't actually.
Because I feel like, I'm sorry to keep asking all these questions, but do you meditate?
I do some meditation, yeah.
That's good, yay. I'm like a huge proponent of meditation. Everybody and their brother, you know?
Yeah, I don't do it as much as I'd like, but it's definitely something that I can sense when I do it. It's definitely helpful.
Oh, that's great. Good. And you know what? That's awesome that you get that, because that's difficult. And I mean that sincerely. It's difficult to understand how important it is to you individually, you know, so I love that. Okay, so this is what I'm getting for you. I'm really getting that you, this is a new sort of beginning for you. You know, it's interesting because the last several weeks ago, they were talking about how Saturn was going through this thing. I'm not an astrologer, but I love it. I'm really fascinated by it all. So they were talking about how Saturn was entering into something or doing something, right? And they were talking about how the next 3 years, like if you start something now, like the next 3 years are going to be a real time of growth, you know, in whatever it is that you choose to sort of really work on. And I just really sense that for you. I'm really sensing that if you when you meditate, are you seeing colors? I feel like that you're actually starting to see things when you meditate. Do you ever see anything?
Yeah, I do. If I spend time focusing when I'm meditating, I do tend to focus on color. It tends to be how I quiet my mind.
Okay.
Yes, that is actually.
That's great. That's great. That's the beginning of it, and that's probably why I'm seeing your third eye so open so much. So that's great. That's really, really good. If this is something that you want to get into, I would really suggest that maybe you hook up with where are you in the country, by the way? Are you in Los Angeles?
I'm right outside of Philadelphia.
Oh, you're way far away. Okay. I was gonna say, come on over and we'll do a class or something. You know, that would be a long ways away.
Not that close.
I don't know if it's possible to kind of connect with some like-minded people, or take like a meditation class in your area, because I really feel like that you will start to connect with like-minded people, and you could, how can I say, you could start to really develop just by having that sort of, this is going to sound strange to say it this way, but like camaraderie, you know, just having somebody to talk about it with, that whole just meditation and what it does and what it means and that sort of thing. I don't know if there's any bookstores over by you, or any place that you can go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
Yes, no, absolutely.
That's good. That'd be great, you know. So yeah, I feel like this is a really good time for you. Your energy is so calm. I love that. I need some of that, you know, and my life is not calm. But you know, and I love your energy is so calm, and just I feel like you're really focused. I feel like that you're really focused. And do you have a if you know, it feels like a father in spirit. Is your father in spirit? Could be grandfather, but
grandfather. Yes.
Okay. And was his face sort of oval?
Yes.
Would you say? Okay. And I'm not getting a whole bunch of hair on his head. A little bit.
That would be correct.
Okay. Okay. He's making me hot, so you know, so I know his energy is building inside me. You know, he's like, I feel like that you take after him a lot, and because his energy feels really similar to what I just described about you, so that's kind of cool. I think that's really neat. I feel like that. Hold on, let me just I want to say it properly and correctly and get the correct words. So, okay. So what he's saying is that he wants to be there for you during this journey. I don't know. Did he? I feel like that he. You weren't incredibly close as adults. I'm feeling like. So I don't know. Did he? Does that mean that he passed when you were a child, or does that mean that you just didn't spend a lot of time with him as an adult?
Yeah, he lived pretty far away.
Okay.
He lived in the middle of the country, so we didn't get to spend a lot of physical time together.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, that makes sense then, because I wasn't quite sure what I was getting. I didn't feel like that. Okay, I'm not even going to get into what I was feeling, but okay, so that makes sense. He wants to sort of make up for that. His like, not that he is on the other side having like a ton of regrets about anything. I'm not feeling like that there's like a lot of regret or anything there. However, he does wish, I'll say it that way, he does wish that he could have spent a lot more time with you, just to get to know you. He's telling me what a cool person you are. He's telling me you should get to know her. This is what he's saying to me. You should get to know her. She's a really cool person. He's telling me about that you have like a diverse set of interests. Would you say that about yourself?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh, I love it. That's great. I love that. So he's telling me about this diverse set of interests, and he's like, yeah, she's really cool. And if you can, and this is what he's telling me, he's like, if you can get her to focus on this, she will be really, really good. So that's fantastic. That's really, really great. Can you just tell me, what was his first name?
William.
William. Okay. Okay. Because I just like to, I don't, some mediums get names like that. I never seem to get names, but it brings the energy full on whenever somebody tells me their name. So,
sure.
So yeah, he's really cool. He's really, really cool. And he's, like, would you say that you sort of take after him sort of demeanor wise?
Definitely. I think there's a lot of similarities. Definitely draw my sense of humor from him.
Yeah.
And stubbornness. Yeah. So
that's great.
Good and bad, I would say.
That is awesome. Was this your mother's father?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Right. I was just seeing girls around him, so I don't know whether your mother had a sister or two or something like that. But or maybe it's you and your mother or something that I just saw from.
Lots of granddaughters. We are basically all granddaughters that he had, so definitely lots of girls in his life. Okay,
and he wants me to tell you, and I don't know that you know this, but this sort of what we do, this sort of spirituality runs in the family, and it runs in your mother's side. I don't know if your mother is into this or not, and there's a whole thing about generations and about how sometimes my parents, not so much into this. My grandmother, not into it at all while she was here on Earth. However, I found out after both of my grandmothers passed that they both had these tendencies. So I will give that to you, that I'm seeing the lineage on your mother's side of the family. So I feel like that his mother had, I don't know if you knew her or not, but I feel like that his mother had some stuff going on. But again, it wasn't really talked about, it was kind of, got to keep it on the down low a little bit. So he's an amazing man, and he will be right there with you if you choose to pursue this. It's interesting because he really wants me to tell you a little part of my story, in that one day I was meditating, and I'll never forget where I was sitting, and I remember clearly hearing, not really hearing a physical voice talk to me, but hearing inside my head, Lauri, you've got a choice to make. You can either turn this off and have it not be interested in it, or you can go this route and develop your abilities. Okay, you have a choice to make. He was saying that to me. I was hearing that from my spirit guides. I'm not feeling like that you're at this point yet. And I'm not feeling like it's so definitive for you. It was definitive for me, because they were like, yes or no, which door do you choose? Door number 1 or door number 2 kind of thing. But for you, I feel like that you personally are wanting to make a decision. Like, okay, I feel like that you're saying to yourself, I either need to like do this or kind of don't, sort of. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Yeah. But your grandfather will be there with you throughout the whole thing, whatever it is that you choose to do. If you choose not to like do this right now or ever, that's your choice as well, and that's okay. And he wants you to know that that's okay. But he's there. You've sensed him around, haven't you? Have you seen like shadows
Yeah.
and stuff?
Yeah, often I will randomly sense him and others, and sometimes not in, also, sometimes in shadows, sometimes also strangely like in animals, particular animals that I will see, and it will
Oh,
pop in a reminder of him.
oh, that's so great. That's great. Well, just know that whenever you feel that, that's going to be him. If it pops, it's just kind of a general. It's not foolproof, but like a general rule of thumb is that if you're walking down the street and something reminds you, oh, my dad, or for me, it's my dad, and I'll look down and somebody will say something or do something, and I'll be like, oh, my dad. Then that's the kind of rule of thumb is that that's actually him. Then he's there, kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
So I'll just give you that. So
really cool.
So great. Well, good luck to you, and please feel free to contact me
Lauri.
if you have any questions about doing anything. I'd love to walk with you down that road. Boy, does that sound
awesome.
So generic, but but I'd love to help you if I can be of any help. So
thank you. I really appreciate it.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Courtney, and have a great night.
You too.
All right. Take care. Oh, that was fun. Oh my gosh, I love calls like that. And especially when the energy is so cool. You know what? You guys, my listeners, are just so cool because your energy is like you always bring the best spirits. Truly, you do. Phyllis, Courtney, you guys all. I mean, it's great. Okay. What I want to talk about tonight is I want to talk about the idea of loving yourself. Okay. So many people, and I said this earlier, so many people say that it's wrong to love yourself. They say, I was taught at a really young age that it's arrogant to say that you love yourself. It's wrong, right? Well, it's just not. I mean, that's the truth. It's just not wrong. So how do I want to say this? So when I was a kid, I was actually a really accomplished singer. And I'm not saying that to toot my own horn by any stretch of means, because now I probably it's all different. When you get older, it's all different anyway. But I was trained operatically. I was even though my interest was in rock and roll, but whatever. So and I had throughout high school, I was in these sort of choir competitions and things, and I ended up having the second highest score or whatever in the state. So I had a really good singing voice. Okay. Now, my mother throughout that whole time would tell me, don't become arrogant. There's always going to be somebody better than you. There's always going to be somebody that's more accomplished than you. There's always going to be somebody that is better that is getting what you want. Okay. And you know what? And I actually am glad that she did that, because today I feel like I have more empathy, and I feel like I have more empathy to other people just in general because of that. My mom did a pretty darn good job, I think. But so there's always somebody better for you. Having a large ego, though, is different than loving yourself. And that's the point of this conversation right now, okay? Loving yourself is just so important. And to do that, we need to talk about what the difference is between the ego and the self. And ironically, and it's so funny how spirit works. I know I say that all the time too, but just before I went live, I knew what I wanted to talk about. One of my Native American friends on Facebook had posted this thing about the ego and the self. And it was like this whole big thing. And I was like, oh my God, that is exactly what I'm talking about today. So, but anyway, I talk a lot about mirror work, and which is a great way to learn to love yourself, looking in the mirror and saying, I love you, which is a very difficult thing to do. And if you do it consistently, it can change your life and the way you look at yourself. So that's a fantastic thing. But here's this: loving who you are, and what you are two totally different things. Let me explain, okay? Who you are, right? Well, I do love who I am, okay? I do. I know in my heart and in my mind that I truly have the best of intentions, always. I really just do. But sometimes I'll say something that is so stupid and so off kilt, and it's really contrary to who I am. Seriously, it's just completely contrary to who I really am as my integrity, who I am as a person. And this then really gets me irritated because with myself, and I go down this path then of I don't love myself, and we have all been there, right? I mean, let me just say it that we've all been there. I think that is the what I am. Okay. Sometimes I don't exactly like what I am. I don't like that I say stupid things sometimes. But here's the thing: that is the ego part, okay, of who we are. Now, here's the thing: I am not a psychologist. I have no degrees in that kind of stuff at all, right? But I've done quite a bit of work on myself, and this is a lot of what I've learned studying all of this, and this is what I've learned, okay? Seeing the who as yourself and seeing the what as your ego is really an important thing to remember about yourself, okay? Last week, I was having a few days of horrible, I felt like that everything that I was doing and saying was irritating everybody. I mean, everybody. I felt like everybody around me was just irritated with me. I was getting more and more upset with myself too because I was doing that, right? Why was that, right? Because I felt that what I was saying was hurting people's feelings. And, I would say something and it would cause them to have pain or whatever, right? And then I would beat myself up and I would feel guilty about it, right? So then that add that in, right? So you're never doing good enough. I'm not good enough, not doing good enough. And then you get you're hurting somebody else because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, and you should call that person good, but you haven't called them, and blah, 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 right? So, but then I have to tell you, this changed my world. Last Tuesday night, I do a Tuesday circle after my show. I do a Tuesday circle, and we give each other readings. Okay, so it's a whole bunch of mediums together and psychics, and we do psychic work, we do mediumship work, and actually it was the Thursday night one. It was Thursday night, but it doesn't matter. At any rate, she sits down, and she doesn't know any of this is going on, right? So she sits down and she's giving me a psychic reading, not a mediumship reading, and she says to me, as long as you know she doesn't know any of this. She says, as long as you know your own heart, you cannot be responsible for the feelings of other people. If somebody chooses to take something a certain way and it causes them pain, that's not your problem. And I've heard this before. I've known this before. But you know what? It really, really struck me because it was something that I needed to remember. And I instantly felt different and better. It really did. It took pressure off for whatever reason, right? So, however, if you're like me, you get irritated when people say, oh, just forgive yourself, or oh, just love yourself, and I always laugh about that because it's not easy to do, right? You have to figure out what's right for you. What is going to change your perspective in that instant, right? And for me, it was hearing something that I had already learned before, right? So I wanted to give you guys that. I wanted to tell you guys that because we can't be responsible for other people. And if we really take that on, it frees up so much emotion that we can bring in love, bring the love into ourselves. We can accept it, right? For yourself. It's just kind of another way of looking at things, I guess you could say. So at any rate, it takes time, it takes patience, it takes love for yourself, it takes forgiveness for yourself. Here's the thing, stick with me, we'll get through this. So, and also, one other thing I wanted to tell you about that is, I didn't bring it with me. Rose quartz. If you find any of what I just said that speaks to you about loving yourself, get some rose quartz. Put it out tonight. Get your piece of rose quartz if you have it already. Put it outside, energize it, and carry it with you. Just carry it with you and see what it can do for you. Okay? Because it's just about the energy, right? It's about changing the energy, right? So, okay. So what I'm going to do is my quote for the day. I have 2 quotes for the day because I couldn't decide which one I like better. Okay. First one is from Mark Twain. Can't go wrong with Mark Twain, right? A man cannot be comfortable without his own approval. Right? Seriously. That is so important. You have to love yourself. You have to. And that's why we're going through this together, because we need to learn to love ourselves, right? And the second quote is, of course, and if you guys know me at all, you've probably heard me say this a gazillion times too. Eleanor Roosevelt, you probably know what I'm going to say. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Right? So it goes both ways, right? It goes both ways. When I'm feeling like I'm feeling bad about, what I said or what I didn't do or what I did do or what I said or what I didn't say, that's one way. And the other way, when somebody does something, think of it this way. When somebody does something and your feelings get hurt, they're not responsible for that. That's you, right? So at any rate, I thought that was kind of an interesting perspective of looking at it. So I'm going to wrap up for tonight. Thank you so much for listening and watching, I should say. I used to do the radio show, so I'm used to saying listening. Thank you for watching and tuning in. I guess I'll say it that way. Thank you to Phyllis and Courtney for the calls. I really appreciate it. Your spirits your souls are just beautiful, and you're beautiful people too. So thank you for that, and thank you for the energy. Thank you to all the spirits. Thank you to Archangel Michael for all the love and protection that he affords me, and all of my spirit guides. And thank you so much. And I wish you all to have a fantastic evening. And until next week, everybody, stay happy. Take care.
Thank you for watching Spiritually Speaking with Lauri Albert.